Hi, welcome to the Catholic Corner. I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan. You know, our economy in the state of New Jersey, our state, started to slump even before it hit other states in our country. It was again hit hard by huge layoffs in the financial sector. Since June of 2008, really just a few months back, our state has lost close to 40,000 jobs, and unemployment this month has reached 6%, the highest we've been in 25 years. A program sponsored by our Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Trenton, which assists families and individuals with basic needs, has experienced a 40% increase in requests for help for food, rent, mortgage, and untitled payments. 40% increase. That's outstanding. This indicates certainly that many are suffering from the severe economic crisis that we have. A national organization, Food Research and Action Center, just issued a report last week that showed more New Jerseyans were going hungry this year. Close to 1 million in our state, mostly children, went to bed hungry on any given night. 1 million children in our state. As more families suffer from various types of deprivation due to economic stresses, there's certainly more tension in the homes, and believe it or not, there's more violence in the homes. My guest today is a beautiful woman who's been working in this sector, helping families for a good few years. She's the director of Catholic Charities Providence House Domestic Violence Services. She'll share her thoughts with us about this kind of stress that adds to this violence, which the economy certainly has placed now in our families. Jean, God bless you. Thanks for being with the Catholic Corner.
Thank you very much for having me, Monsignor.
Boy, you know, when I shared some of that, it's just outstanding. I can't even believe it myself, so to speak, you know. Tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, about Catholic Charities, Providence House, domestic violence.
I will. Providence House Domestic Violence Services of Catholic Charities, Diocese of Trenton, has been working for and on behalf of battered women and their children for 30 years in Burlington County and 22 years in Ocean County. We have a wide variety of services that will help all family members of the abusive situation, whether they're man or woman, young or old, regardless of their religious affiliation, regardless of race, ethnic backgrounds, or socioeconomic levels. We will provide. We have a hotline. We have safe houses for people who need to escape the violence. We have outreach counseling, legal service programs, and programs for the children.
Well, that's absolutely, you know, it's terrific and amazing. And it's so inspiring to myself to hear you say that, you know, doesn't matter, male, female, young, old, this religion, this race, that race, that we're all sons and daughters of God when we come down to it, you know, and it's so nice to know that your doors are open to everybody, and I'm sure that creates a lot of work, a lot of stress for yourself in a way, you know. Now, you mentioned a couple of services that we have. Are there other services that we have for the various components of our families?
We have services. Catholic Charities has 4 different service areas that help a variety of folks in the 4 counties of Burlington, Mercer, Ocean, and Monmouth. We have the Emergency and Community Service Program that you mentioned that works with folks who have concrete needs of food and clothing and help with utilities. We have the Behavioral Health Program that works with the chronically mentally ill, and Children and Family Services, which works with children who are in crisis, whether it's sexual assault or drugs and alcohol, and families that are in crisis. I'm the service area director of Providence House Domestic Violence Services, so we provide services to those individuals who are suffering because of violence in the home.
But you probably connect with each other at times if you need
right.
need each other. That's
exactly
terrific,
right.
You know, and those services, as you mentioned, are just open for everybody. Are you seeing now more effects of the worsening economy in your agency and your program?
Yes, we are. Providence House is seeing a 30% increase.
30%.
30% increase. Since September, 30% increase of people needing our services. And there's a variety of reasons for this, but one of them is due to the economy. The economy is very stressful right now, the weakened economy. And folks that are in violent homes are dealing with enormous stress. We all have, bills to pay and the burdens of the increased gas prices and, which are going down right now, but food costs, other essentials that we have, loss of jobs, foreclosures. We all have those burdens and worries. But in the home where there's violence, those added stressors can lead to more violence.
And you can understand that because we can feel stress in our own lives. Hopefully we're not violent, but you can feel it. And also I would imagine, and maybe you can help me with this, that work is a stress reliever. We hope. I mean, it could be an added stress, but at least sometimes it gives people an outlet so that they can go to work and they can see themselves as a productive
Correct.
Human person. And I would imagine some of those things might help people to take away that anger inside of them that would create some kind of violence.
That's right. That's right. So if you lose the job, you're home more, you're worried more about the finances, and you're going to most likely take that out on your partner. Domestic violence is an issue of power and control. So somebody who is feeling like they're in control, they're not going to be quite as violent. If they are losing control, especially things they have no control over, they've lost their job. Prices have gone up on everything. So when they're losing control, they're going to strike out. And the violent partner strikes out on their family. If they do go to work, they're not going to take it out on their boss or their coworkers. They're going to come home and they're going to relieve their stress on their family members.
It's almost sad to think that they can't find some other way to relieve that tension. So I'm sure there are other ways that you can talk about too. That maybe help people in those situations. But it is understandable in a sense that you can feel a person. And I don't know if this is true or not, but please help me with this. That if someone, you can love someone, and because you love someone, you want to do the best for that person sometimes, and then when you can't, you get so frustrated that maybe I don't know what the psychological term would be, that it almost turns inside out. And if you want to put a nice meal on the table for your children, and all of a sudden you go to the store and you don't have enough money for things, and it's their birthday. You gotta kind of feel something, I guess. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct, Monsignor. But in your normal home, we have the ability to control that and find, as you said, other outlets. In the violent home, it's a cycle that has built. The tension, phase one of the cycle is that the tension builds, and then the actual abusive incident occurs, which relieves that tension, and then the rest of the third cycle is where things are relaxed, everybody is feeling okay until the tensions build again, and then the cycle continues. One of the things that I do want to stress is that in your non-violent family, in a family that is able to find other means to relieve their stress, whether they jog, exercise is a wonderful outlet. Watching football games is another wonderful outlet.
Depends on who you're rooting for.
Right, that's true. But there are other ways of reducing your stress. That family, because of the economy, is not going to turn into a violent home. So it's important to stress that the economy, the weakened economy, doesn't cause domestic violence. So in your non-abusive home, you're not going to necessarily have violence just because of the economy. The economy is often, or substance abuse, or any number of other issues can be used as an excuse for why somebody became violent. But the whole reason that they become violent in the home is due to the need for them to be controlling and have power over their family. So one of the things I also like to talk a little bit about is if somebody is in a relationship, they've lost their job, their partner has lost their job, there was previous issues of control, they need to be careful because any more added stress can cause the violence. Signals that they can look for are, is he, and I say he because 95% of the time the victim is a woman, but there are victims that are men too. So if your partner is being overly controlling, overly like isolating you, not allowing you to be in touch with your family or your friends, is irrationally jealous, is just keeping a real hand on, you under his thumb, berates you, belittles you. Those kind of psychological and emotional abuse situations can lead to violence if there is the added stress of the economy. If that's so, if those things are going on in a home, they're warning signals for them to be careful.
Jean, tell me a little bit about this control. Why do some people need that control, or why do some people feel that they think they lose their personhood or their personality if they that?
That has a lot to do with their self-esteem, their self-image. That I want to be the man of the house, and I want to be in control, and I want everybody to do as I say. They may have grown up in a household like that, where
so they learned that as an early age, maybe.
That. I do seriously believe that battering is a learned behavior. They can unlearn it. But it is definitely something that is part of their personality, that's how they get their sense of self-esteem and self-image. That they want the people around them, their family members, wife, children, their partner and their children to do as they say, because they're the ones that is in charge.
And if they lose that, I guess they feel like they're losing something of themselves. And then how much can they lose before they almost think they're going to disappear or something?
That's right. And they lose their job because, especially losing the job is for people who work full time. That's a lot of the portion of their day that if they don't have that's a part of their identity that they have lost. And so now they have to make sure that the people around them can help shore up their identity.
Jean, is it also true that sometimes some folks are over-identified in a certain way, so they only see themselves as, what would I say, as that public person or that worker person or that, so that if that goes away,
that's right.
They don't
know who they are.
They don't see that they could be a wonderful father or a wonderful husband, or they might be a good gardener, or whatever else happens, or what other gifts they possibly have. That so much is identified with that one little sector of their lives.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. And when they lose that, then they feel like they're losing control. And so if their partner is, talking on the phone with a friend and they don't want them to, they want them to be paying attention to them, then they can lose control. I'll give you just a small example. This is a true story where a woman was being abused. She was in an abusive relationship. So he came home and saw her on the telephone talking to a friend. They were in the bedroom. And he had told her before, you're not allowed to talk to that friend. This is somebody that is no good for you. When you come back from seeing her, you're too sassy, and I don't like the effect she has on you. And they were fighting back and forth, and he said, I'm telling you, no, don't ever talk to her again. And we both know what will happen if you do. And all he did was turn and look at the bedside table. They both knew there was a loaded gun in his drawer.